Well, hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are fired up and ready for Monday. It was an absolutely spectacular opening day of lobster. Al, thanks for taking us along on the ride.
Yes, sir. Anytime. I'm working on getting a little bit more visibility on those boats with the camera situation, but at night it's a little bit, it's not like daytime.
No, but you ended up doing pretty good both nights. I mean, come on. First night, it was you and your deckhand, and you guys did good. You guys got done. What did you end up with, 12 or 11?
Yeah, we just fished till we had enough. He could only take 4, so I'm like, we're good. Let's get out of here. And then Saturday night, I took the Riviera with clients, new clients that were a little skeptical at first, and we totally won them over, and we ended up with 21. First,
And they were going full speed. Every pull, they had their cameras out. They were going full speed. They had such a good time.
yeah, they were cool. They're right here from Chula Vista. Guy owns a concrete company and a trucking company and Mexican fellas. They're like, we're Mexican. I go, dude, I know all about it. I married the one from Guadalajara. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes,
They had a good time. What was cool about it is their expectations were not high. They're like, hey, you just want to go have fun, drink some beers. We know all about it. Sometimes they don't crawl. I'm like, well, they should. We'll figure it out. First pull, we only got one, and the rest of the pulls were all good. 6, 5, 7, and a bunch of big. I was fishing an area where a lot of rock crab and spider crabs. So we got a couple horn sharks, spider crabs, rock crabs, a ton of rock crabs. So it was a good science project for him.
Well,
And
yeah,
it was crowded, it's crowded out there. So with the Riviera, I like to stay on the outskirts of everybody with the Riviera, especially when there's dudes that aren't lit up out there and stuff. So I just fished a channel edge that I used to fish before, and it worked out.
Yeah, there's a lot of newbies out there. There's opening week. It's a crazy, crazy thing. It's going to get better as
Oh
the
yeah.
season moves along.
Believe it or not, Saturday night wasn't as bad as Friday night. I would thought it was going to be worse because everybody's like, "Hey, we're off all day, we're fired up," but it was still crowded, pretty crowded, but it wasn't as bad as Friday night. Friday night was out of control. But
Really?
I just stay passive and whatever. Did you want to say your stuff right next to me? What am I going to do? I'm not the yelling and screaming and conflict type of guy. But on the Riviera, you got to be careful because last thing I want to have to do is dive in the water and take somebody's gear off my boat.
So that brings up a perfect thing. Let's talk about etiquette right now. Since we're in here and we're talking and it was crowded this weekend, let's talk about etiquette because a lot of people don't understand what you got to do. Guys are asking me, is 100 yards enough? Are you not really? Because you're on a boat of Al's size or let's go a little bit bigger,
Right?
80 foot, 90 foot
Yeah.
Vikings were out there. You can't, 100 yards is nothing when you're dropping hoop nets and you're maneuvering and you're getting around and all that gear in the water and underwater. Talk about it, Al.
Yeah, in the Riviera, you got tide and current and wind and everything going on. The dark. Obviously I have the proper lighting and stuff, but you need room to be able to pull in, pick your hoops, rebait them as you're floating, you're drifting. You know what I mean? So sometimes you're drifting at 2 knots if the tide's ripping, right? So by the time you get everything organized and stuff and go back up to where you want to put it, you need a lot of room. So my recommendation is if you guys go out there and there's a couple 50-footers or 80-foot yachts already in the water, stay way away from them. You know what I mean? Go over to where all the little dinghies are at. But, some areas where all the little boats are at, 100 yards is plenty, but not with the big boats.
Right. Well,
Because it can be detrimental to the big boat. Say you set your stuff and it gets caught in my gear. that's a big time deal. You know what I mean? Getting that stuff off, you got to jump in the water, get it off in the middle of the night. You know, it's and it could bend up the gear. You know, the guy that owns that hoop could be paying for a lot of dough to fix it. You know, but I mean, those guys Friday night. I started in an area where there was 4 boats. I knew a couple of them from the old days, and I went up and talked to them and stuff. And they go, "Yeah, come on, plenty of room." So we all set our stuff. And then an hour after dark, the lake guys started showing up. And then this Parker pulled right up in the middle of 5 different sets and just strung a line right down the middle. I couldn't. I was 4 feet from my hoop. I couldn't believe it. I was in the Stringari, so I could deal with it, but it was just not cool, you know.
And we can't control other people's boats, but you know what? We can kind of give you a clue. If you want to be out there and causing all this problems, here's my attitude. Because I'm the 42-foot Riviera, the 46-foot Riviera, the 38-foot Riviera. It's hard to maneuver. It is hard to maneuver. And if you want to go putting your stuff in the water around other stuff, here's what I've always done. Now, you can call me whatever name you want. You can do whatever you want about it. But I was driving a 65-foot Hatteras, or I was driving a 44-foot Pacifica, or I was driving a 60-foot Viking when I was doing it for a living. And if you put your stuff by me, I pulled it and I stacked it very nice and neatly on the back deck. I wrapped your ropes up. I put them all together and I put your stuff very nice and neatly. And when you came back in to pull your stuff, I handed it right to you. And I would just let you know, gang, as long as you drop your stuff here, I'm going to pull your stuff and get it out of the way so I will not get it caught in my propeller. Now, if you got a problem with that and you think you got something going on, you go right ahead. But I am going to pull your stuff every single time because it's going to keep me from getting two bad situations happen. The drifting with the stuff caught in your gear. And then the other problem is just not being able to move, period. And you're stuck and you end up on the rock. So in order for you to not get in my way, I pull your stuff and hand it to you when you pull up.
Right, and sometimes it's a bitch to do that. Excuse my language. It's tough to do that because then your stuff's so close. You're pulling everybody's stuff just to get room. You know, it's crazy, man.
It is.
It's
It's
not cool. Some
absolutely.
guys will just go over there and cut them. You know,
Yeah, you don't. But
I
what you don't
don't.
want.
I don't. But you know,
But
it's
if you think about it, you don't want to do that because then that hoop net's fishing forever. So I always just pull them up nice and neatly, wind up the rope, and beg and pray that somebody will jump in there. Justin, are you coming on here or what, buddy? Are you getting to the spot? Where are you going? It wasn't that busy at Catalina. Well, that's because you guys were at Catalina. And Justin knows the good spots to get away from all the people. Captain Al's fishing in San Diego Harbor, not because he doesn't know any other spots, but because that's going to give him the best opportunity to catch legal lobsters out in the harbor instead of going out. Where are you going to go in San Diego? That the commercial guys aren't going to have
yeah.
all
It's
stopped up.
more. It's dangerous out there at night with all those hoops and all those traps with no lights and stuff. Yeah, it's not
It's
worth it.
crazy.
It's not worth the risk. Because
Okay,
every nugget outside within a mile or two is taken by the commercial guys.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got hay fever like crazy right now. We got about 1 million butterflies down here right now. And there is, because we had, in the last 3 weeks, we've had so much rain. It is just
Wow.
absolutely incredible. The blossoms, the blooming. I've
Yeah,
been blowing my nose all day today.
we're getting a little bit of aftermath from that stuff. A little bit of swell right now. A little bit of cloud cover, a little drizzle. It's all from that stuff down south. But that swell's great. Let that swell build.
Absolutely. Hi, Jeanette. How you doing today?
So my take on the couple nights I was out there, they're definitely crawling and they're crawling good. So if you guys want to put some lobsters in your hoop and you're in the San Diego area, hit me up because I'm locked and loaded and ready to rip on the Riviera or the Stringari.
What's crazy to me is you just you got no trips. It's kind of weird. You got to get some trips here, folks.
Right? I had 2 lobster trips coming out of the gate, and it's like I'm not sure what's going on now. And the offshore fishing is good. So you guys want to buy another freezer and stuff another one full of fish? It's time to go. The bluefin and the yellowfin are down here, and it's biting. Look at the reports, but I'm ready to do it all. I'm fired up. I feel like I'm 25 years old right now.
Right.
I don't know where all the people are that want to go on trips. I'm working on that, by the way. But
Well, Tim, if you hear from Pablo, you'll be the first one that hears from him. We haven't heard a word from Pablo. We don't know how he's done, what he's doing, if he's even doing it, what's going on. Pablo, we don't know what he's doing. He could be fishing for marlin. By the way, the marlin bit wide open yesterday on the 14-mile bank. Wide open, Al.
right, I heard about somebody getting like 7 of them or something. I don't know if that was you that told me. No, it wasn't you that told me. Somebody else told me. 7 of them in like a 5-hour stretch.
Yeah, it looked like Cabo San Lucas at the 14-mile bank yesterday. We got some videos from some people. It looked pretty spectacular. I was pretty impressed. I couldn't believe that they were telling me it was the 14. It's crazy.
Right?
It's freaking
And those
crazy.
yellowfin are thick, thick, thick down south. And they're starting to slide up here into, within 40 miles of the point. And then there's bluefin, 30-mile-ish area. Could be 15 to 30 miles. Sometimes our days are popping up right on the 9. Some days are popping up by the 302, 371, upper hidden. But don't put your rods away. It's probably the best it's been all summer right now.
Right?
And
Yeah.
all the tourists are gone. You want to go fishing with not too many people. Now's the time. You can pull up to Capt right now and have it all to yourself all day with no burger eaters.
Yeah. The biggest problem is the bait. Not that
Yeah.
there's a lack of bait. There's just weird bait. It's
Yeah, I mean, it was good for quite a few weeks, and then that big stuff showed up yesterday. I was surprised. Those things almost went from end to end in my Stringari Pacific Edge bait tank. I pulled up there and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna go catch some corvina on the small baits. I didn't even think about having a bait problem, right? I rolled up there and go, what do we got? Big old giant sardines, but I got some anyway, and we did get one corvina on him, so it made the day. He never caught one, so he can't say that no more.
8-inch bait in Mission Bay. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, they're big, dude.
Put a saddle on them, ride them.
Yeah, one scoop you get about 30 pieces, maybe if you're lucky, and then they all want to die.
Yeah, you can't catch nothing with them anyway.
But it's been like that all season. There's always some issue. You just got to persevere over the conditions or the bait or whatever. When we didn't have any bait, I had to figure out that spreader bar. I went down there and started towing that thing around. I had to get paid, right?
And they were eating it.
Then it paid off.
They were eating it.
And they're eating, the standard old school jigs outside right now. The cedar plugs and the howcos and the feathers. This big fish are eating. Well, the big and little bluefin are eating that spreader bar. You could go out 25 miles, put that spreader bar out, and get a 180 right now.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, it's bad. And that the spreader bars are beer drinking lures, man. Those guys we put them out, and those guys just start BSing. Next thing you know, it goes off, and it's on 200-pound string, so it's totally manageable for the clients to get them to the boat.
Right.
Right? That's what I like about it. Trust me, I like catching them, on the kite and all that stuff, but it makes it a lot more difficult for the newbies to mess with those things. But yeah, they're eating a wide variety of techniques. And right now, I think the wind is 6 knots all day.
All right. Perfect.
And I'm in my garage talking to you.
Well, that's because we're trying to get you some trips, buddy. You got to get some trips.
Yeah, a lot of the people. There's not. Well, from what I can see, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody listening, but most people live up in LA. It's only an hour and 20 minutes away from my dock. You can always drive down here and go fishing.
Hold on. Go ahead, Al.
That's a good call, Dave. Deckhand Sports is in the house. Best kill bags, lobster backpacks.
Oh, yeah. Big supporter.
You name it. You got to give a big thumbs up to Deckhand Sports, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're headed southwest tomorrow? Beautiful.
That's perfect. More south than west, I think. If you're in a fast boat, I would stay inside and go down about 45 miles.
Justin was out fishing bluefin yesterday. He came across 1 million little tiny baby ones, like 1.5 to 2 pound models.
That's weird. That's weird. So those things those little babies swim all the way across the Pacific?
No, they're born here.
Right, because they were saying that they don't spawn here.
Oh, yeah. They say a lot of shit. Oh, sorry. They say a lot of stuff. They do.
All that controversy about, no, they don't spawn here. Those guys are getting a check right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say a lot of stuff. Jack Bushnell went fishing yesterday, caught a couple of little baby ones. Hey, there he is. There's Justin. What's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Just looking at this video that I got from Jack about a little tiny baby bluefin.
Yeah. So I've been every time I go out, sorry, like a million things going on at once. Every time I go out fishing, I try to figure things out, how the fish move, what they do, what they're feeding on, so on and so on. So I think I may have this bluefin thing figured out. Not about what they're doing, but I think they're breeding out here. I think I know where they're breeding compared to last year and this year. And I think those baby bluefin, which is a really cool thing that we have going on here, because I think our fishery out here is just going to get better and better throughout the years. And I think they're breeding on the backside of Clemente Island, right on the ridge, up towards the west end. And once they hatch, the currents, they kind of push them around. They're feeding on all those little anchovies. The anchovies are all over the dang place. And they're moving in towards like the Snail and the Osborne Bank. And that's where I was yesterday at the Osborne. And there was just millions of these little tiny baby bluefin tuna. I thought that it was mackerel. But I jumped on my bow. I didn't jump there. I walked up to the bow. Crashed onto the bow, right? I went to the bow and I just rolled up to the bluefin tuna because I was like, man, we can't get bit for nothing. Like we're doing something wrong. And I was working with Jack out there, and Jack said, oh, my buddy, he got 7 on a foamer. I'm like, why is he getting 7 and I'm not, kind of a thing. And I'm like, what is he doing I'm not doing? So I started casting different things at him, and I got right up to these tuna. I'm like, man, these aren't even tuna, they're bonita. And I got closer to them, and they're freaking bluefin tuna, and they're literally 12 inches long, max.
How long does it take them to get 12 inches? I wonder. Not very long, right?
Less than 6 months.
Right.
When they're born, they're 6 to 8 inches long when they hatch, and then it takes them less than 6 months. They grow really fast. I was like reading up on them all yesterday on the way back, and all today this morning, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they're breeding out here, even though people say they're not. I would bet $1 million on it, because there's no way that little tiny baby bluefin tuna
Got pushed all the way from across the Pacific.
got pushed all the way from Japan, where they say they're breeding, because it would take months, right? Like at least 3 to 4 months for them to come across the currents,
right,
from Japan over to here. And by then, that bluefin tuna is already 30, 40 pounds, which we did see the 30, 40 pounders already. But to see the ones that are like 1 to 5 pounds, that's something pretty cool. Really cool. I couldn't get them to bite. I didn't bring my trout poles or my trout gear to get them to bite. I didn't have any rooster tails or anything to throw at them. So, yeah. And Jack said his buddy caught 7 of them, but I'll bet they're a snag. He said he caught them on cold snipers, but I don't know how that size fish would even bite a cold sniper.
Little tiny one, little 100-gram one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll bet that they were snagged. They had to have been.
You should have grabbed one of those little Wounded Warrior rods and took it out there.
Right? I probably would have done it right there. I would have done it with I would have casted a rooster tail for trout on them, but I didn't have any those on the boat. I'm gonna start carrying them. I threw Icara jigs at them. Nothing.
Did you catch any other? Did you get around any other bluefin?
No, it was all small, all different areas. So I'll tell everyone where they're at, because if you want to try to catch a little baby tuna and spend $10,000 in field, good luck. They're everywhere. They're from the 499 to Santa Barbara Island, all the way up towards San Nicolas Island, all along that back channel near the Osborne, going over to the Snail. So if you want to chase those little babies, go right ahead. There's a million people chasing them, and they're
what were they doing? Just flat spots or shining or
everything? They were doing everything.
Too?
They were near the whales. There's a bunch of whales everywhere. They would pop up. The birds would just be sitting on the water, and if you just drive over to the birds and sit there and stare at them like for 5 minutes, a spot of bluefin, these little baby ones will start. It's not even foaming. The water wasn't even. It's just boiling. They were so small they couldn't even make the water foam.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was really cool. So we would just see a little spot of birds and just drive over to it and wait there. Then all of a sudden, all over the water.
Jeez, that's pretty cool. That's pretty special. You know, these are the same people that said that the sand bass don't spawn. So,
yeah, it's probably the same people that go down there with a tape measure 10 feet and go, "Is there any sand bass in here?"
Right. Yeah. So you got to remember, gang, the people that are creating all this they don't even go outside. Their pail is, and they're cold. They're just clammy and cold, and their hands are money counting hands. They don't really know, but they're setting precedent. They're deciding whether you get to fish or not. They're deciding. It's pretty sad. I'm glad that the day after tomorrow's bait day, gang. So it's going to be a big, big day come Wednesday. The commercial guys get to start whaling on the lobsters, and they've done it right, gang. They are allowed to have as many as they want, as many as they want, as many as they catch, they can have on Wednesday. Isn't that amazing? We can have 7 lobsters. We can have, Al. We can have 7. They can have as many as they want.
A whole truckload, a semi-load, whatever they can carry.
Isn't that amazing, gang? That is absolutely amazing. These are the people that write the rules. See, the fishing game, the commercial lobstermen would never, ever let them take away their lobsters. That would be ludicrous, right? That would be so stupid to have 7. They want to, because we're so stupid, and we'll say anything. We will fight with each other. We'll say there isn't any lobsters anymore because Justin caught all of them. So now there's no lobsters anymore, Al. So we should only have 5. Are you out of? I'm just
Yeah. It's always the hook and line or the hoop net guys that's the problem, right? Which is total BS, capital B and a capital S.
well, it's commercial. Everybody's not a problem. It's not a problem, gang, but they want to make it so our commercial friends can't make a living. They want to make it so nobody can make a living fishing, and we have to buy all our seafood from foreign countries, which is pretty sad.
Right?
It's pretty unbelievable. When you see those little rock lobsters that they're selling at Costco, and it's ridiculous. You'll never see one of our lobsters at Costco because you're not going to buy one.
Right. Yeah, and they don't taste very good. I ate a few of those lobsters last night, and man, our lobsters are good.
Oh God, yes, they're great.
In fact, I'm gonna have some for lunch.
Yeah, Rick, the sand bass were so thick this year, and to think they didn't want us to have any, and we gave them one. I don't even know why we gave them one, but we gave them one. We gave them one just to make them feel warm and cozy inside, even though we knew there wasn't a problem and these fish migrate into our area and migrate out and spawn. But
it's funny because to me, that whole sand bass thing, which is a whole nother gimmick, and everyone's like, "Oh, we won. What did we win? One last sand bass?"
Well, we kind of lost. We lost the sand bass.
Right, exactly. Everyone's like, "Oh, we won." No, we didn't. We lost. We proved that they can win every time they want to do something. That's what happened. So we lost. We lost again. We lost.
Yeah, it's crazy. The lakes, not to change off the saltwater stuff, but the lakes are drying up here, and there's a big deal going on with the lakes too. And tomorrow, downtown San Diego, I have to go to a meeting like similar to, it's not with the Fish and Game, but it's with the city in San Diego, and they're trying to take away all our lakes fishing too. It's just ridiculous.
Wow. Imagine if we tried to take stuff away from them.
Right? It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. But I want to talk a little bit more about that bluefin thing. I've seen some of the comments about it, and I think Arnie said some professor, or doctor, or scientist, or someone another said something about them breeding out here. But I noticed at the beginning of the year, like when the bluefin just started coming around, up over in this certain area, which exact same thing happened last year too. We see these bluefin and they're like 200 plus pounders. They're really big fish and they're not biting. They will not bite. So I started doing research on it. Like, why won't these fish bite? They wouldn't bite the kite. They wouldn't bite anything. And it's because bluefin go 2 to 4 weeks of not eating when they're breeding. They live on their fat. That's why bluefin store so much fat. The bigger they are, the more fat they store, so the longer they can go without eating. Because there's different. I was reading up on all this weird stuff. I'm getting all weird into this now. So, and the other reason why they do that, they store so much fat, is because when they are en route or on their path to whatever destination they're going to, there's some spots in the ocean that don't have bait, like big areas that don't have bait. So they need to be able to get from here and go 100 or 200 miles without feeding, and then they can start gorging themselves over there. And that's why you also see them foaming on top of the surface on this, because they're literally gorging themselves as much food as they can. So sometimes when you catch these bluefin, you see that they just puke up, or you cut them open, all this different bait, squid, anchovies, mackerel, flying fish, all this stuff, because they gorge themselves almost to death just to get all that fat built up in their body. And just what I was reading on it, and everything's starting to make sense now, is they are going on the backside of Clemente in this certain area. I don't want to give out the area because I don't want people targeting that spot, but this certain area, I've seen them the last couple of years in that same spot. Those specific fish, those big ones, will not feed. They do not feed. They're not up foaming. They're just breezing around. And it's pretty spectacular, though. So I should be a scientist. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you should.
Aren't you a reptile guru?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting, though.
It's good to know all that stuff.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, they rub against each other's bellies. But we swore to God we saw that 15 years ago, and they told us that it wasn't. But
So I also read up on how they breed. Like I got all geeked out on all this stuff, right? So I read how they breed, and bluefin are one of the only species of tuna that breeds like this. What they do is they swim, and the female will deposit her eggs into the water, just like a big cloud, as she's swimming by. The males will come up and shoot out their sperm, called breezing. So they don't actually touch each other. They never touch each other. The female will swim, deposit her eggs, and then the males, you'll see them just kind of willy-nilly. What they're doing is they're going near the string of eggs and depositing their sperm in towards the sperm clouds into the eggs. And they said sometimes that when this happens, you can actually see a white cloud inside the water. So I haven't seen that. I have never even looked for that. But
I wonder how long it takes them to hatch or become a tuna after they do that.
it was like 1 or 1.5 weeks. It's pretty quick. Yeah.
so basically, these fish that are out here, these little tiny fish that are out here right now, could have been spawned in March.
Yep. Or April or May. So it just depends on how much food they had. And we had so many anchovies out here that they would gorge themselves.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Kind of interesting, huh?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's always the guys that try to shut things down that say that it's not happening, it ain't happening. And they also got to remember that they've been on the planet for a short period of time compared to these fish that have been on the planet since the beginning of time. So to think you know what the heck's going on out here, as we saw, we don't know anything. we don't know anything. And the lobsters, perfect example is the lobster fishery. The lobster fishery, these commercial guys, they've been fishing this for 100 years and it just keeps coming. So to think that if you knew, my gosh, guys like Kenny and Bobby fishing lobsters out of Dana Point would have wiped out but the guys are catching them in the same spots that Kenny and Bobby caught lobsters 100 or 30, 40, 50 years ago. They're still catching those same lobsters at the same spots in the same massive amount of volume. So how can that be? How can that be?
Yeah.
It goes to show you that the ocean is fine if we just leave it alone and just enjoy it and quit trying to manipulate this thing into what you want it to be. If you just let it go, it's going to be just fine. And the days of wiping out fish, those days are long gone.
They're already wiped out.
They're already wiped out. There's more now than there ever was.
Yeah, I think it's I personally think all fish and all living animals are they migrate. All living animals migrate, even on land. Everything. Look at ants. They migrate, right? Fish, they all migrate. Calico bass, you can hit one spot one day and they're wide open, and the next day you go a few hundred yards away and you got wide open bass right there. And it's just, I don't know. I think just everything migrates, and you get, like Dave's word, cyclical, of different waves of different things happening. Like we used to have all of those albacore that were out here, and just the different currents and everything else that pushed them in here. That's why they were here. But then before that albacore, what was there? Bluefin tuna. And if it wasn't for Dave's dad and a few other people, we wouldn't be fishing those bluefin tuna. We'd just be staring at them. And if we were just staring at them, what would happen? We would never target them. So we're not going to target those fish.
Don't forget about the big eye too. Big eye.
Yeah. So I think it's just all things migratorial and cyclical, and things happen when they happen.
Right. Yes, sir. They move around, and it could be hundreds of miles.
And like the bluefin note, people say, "Oh no, they breed on the near Japan and so on and so on." Who's stopping them from breeding everywhere else? Like I don't say, Dave can only breed in Cabo. He can't breed up here. You can't tell a fish, hey, you can only breed in Japan. You can't breed in the United States.
Yeah.
So
Well, they get it off of their science, and as you know, their science is
it's thrown right out.
Right.
Well, hey, watch this real quick from Promar. They're giving 15% off. If you don't have all your gear ready, I don't know what you're waiting for, but might as well watch this video and get it. All right, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about the ambush line of hoop nets. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top, or start at the top and work our way to the bottom, depending on where you're at your level of hoop netting. First of all, we're going to talk about the new Ambush XL Heavy. Now this thing is an animal. This thing, most of us for years have had to put weights in the bottom of our nets to get them down to the bottom when we're fishing over 100 feet of water. Well, the guys at Promar have come up with the most phenomenal design. This thing right here, this thing by itself weighs 14 pounds. This is a big piece of metal right here. This thing's gonna sink like a boulder right to the bottom. You're not gonna have to put any weights on them. You're not gonna have to worry about that anymore. This thing's ready to go. If you guys are fishing in the deep water, the new XL Heavy is gonna be your go-to ambush net. Next, the Ambush XL. This is a phenomenal net, giant opening at the top, much bigger than the original Ambush. This is gonna be for those of you with enough deck space that can handle these XL. Because like I've always said, I've never had enough of anything, and I've never had enough of an ambush net. The bigger the better, always. Bigger is better. The more lobsters you can fit in here, the better it's gonna be for you. Get the night over with quicker. So the Ambush XL is much bigger around than the original ambush net. The problem with this, if you have a small boat though, is it's gonna take up a big piece of property on your boat. So we're gonna go to the original ambush and show you a little bit smaller in diameter, much easier to store. These all stack right up on top of each other for easy storage. When you have 10 of these, because you're not gonna want a hoop net without 10, because you're never gonna go by yourself. You're always gonna take a friend, that way he can have 5 and you can have 5. And these things will stack up and take up one tiny little area on your boat. If you look, those of you with the small 20-foot to 30-foot boats, you're gonna want these smaller type ambush nets, the original ambush, because they take up less space on the deck of your boat, much easier to store. You can see the difference in size of the two nets. And then we got the heavy duty, this XL Heavy for fishing deep water on the bottom. I just went through the whole line of ambush nets. If you want to get more technical and get more precise on how to hoop net in Southern California, check out my website at YourSaltwaterGuide.com, and you can check out the full line of ambush nets there, and you can see exactly how we use them, where we use them, how we set them up, and how we get them down to the bottom. Check out YourSaltwaterGuide.com. Well, there you go, gang. It's only up to you now. If you want to suck, go right ahead and suck. But if you don't want to suck, follow the simple instructions. Justin and Al, you guys had a phenomenal weekend hoop netting, didn't you? Enough of that bluefin thing. We talk about that forever.
You can do that on the while he's laying in bed. Do all that research.
Yeah, do all that research. 15% off all your Promar products, especially hoop net stuff.
So next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna geek out on some lobster stuff. I want to figure out. So questions I have for myself are, why, if I hoop net, say tonight over in Avalon Harbor, and I catch nothing, but last year I hoop netted in Avalon Harbor and I caught 300 lobsters. But then tomorrow night I go a quarter mile away and I hoop net and I catch 300 lobsters, where last year I caught no lobsters. Why is that? And what's driving them to go over there? And if it's the same depth of water, I was talking with Anthony this earlier, and he's probably like, "What are you doing? Like, why?" And
lobsters move too, man.
yeah, and I want to know what drives them. So what drives them to move? It's not breeding season. So what's driving them over there? Is there
No, you know, not only you're talking about years and difference in moving, days and difference moving too. You know, I remember one time we just smoked them 2 poles. We were done with 4 guys.
Yeah.
And I had something important to do the next night. I'm like, this is too much fun. I'm canceling that. We went right back over there, same kind of conditions, for 0.
Yeah.
Just like that.
So then why is that? Is it that the lobsters aren't crawling right there? Or is it that the lobsters have moved on somewhere else for some reason? Maybe, and then as I was thinking of that, I get all like weirded out. I seriously get weirded out on this stuff. So now that I was thinking of that, and I thought, what if something died over there? Like you see sea lions dead sometimes, and eventually they'll float to the bottom. Maybe something died in that area, and the smell or the decaying of that animal,
all that stuff filtered in.
It drew them all over into the one area. Yes. I don't know. This is all weird stuff, but and then my next thing is
if you can figure it out, you be the man.
So my next thing is I seen like a month ago a sea lion in a floating sea lion in the harbor, and I seen where he was near these rocks. So when I go out again, I'm gonna put some hoop nets around that area where he was. And see if that's the case, because if it is, that's kind of very interesting. And
yeah, if the current's not pushing too fast, it'll be in that zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the current's pushing fast, they're going to move wherever it's falling.
Right. Yeah. That's.
I know. I fished deep for the second night I fished deep for San Diego Bay, which was like 48 feet, to stay away from all the knuckleheads. And the first pull wasn't very successful with lobsters. It had a lot of crab and stuff in it, but we got 1 keeper. And then the next pool, we got 6. And the next pool after that, we got 7. And we were fishing close to a really good area. So I think they came out, and it took them a little while to get over to where I was at. I don't know. I don't know if they lived down there or if they crawled over there, you know, because they crawl out at night and then crawl back into their houses, right? You got to get them going out and get them coming back in. That's my theory anyway. Not unless you're fishing right on the structure where they're all piled up at. But I don't freaking know.
Yeah, it's really weird. What drives them to actually start crawling? Because sometimes, like you said, they'll just sit up in the structure, and you could put your bait right next to that structure. Yeah, and it won't come out.
Yeah, Seawolf could probably pitch in on a lot of that stuff because he's under there looking at them. I have a diver friend of mine I took out last year in the middle of the year. It was freezing cold, and we fished. I just took him to the jetty, and he came up after his first tank, and we didn't have 14. And he was like, "Man, these things are so tight. I have to like swim up, hold myself on the rock, and just reach way back in to grab them. There's nothing out crawling around. They're all in the edge, you know. And sometimes, like right now, I believe they're crawling everywhere out there.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of bugs taken on Saturday night on a big flatty area, you know.
Yeah.
Some of my buddies jacked them up pretty good too.
And Mike, I try to camera.
Then there's nights you go out there, man, you freaking can't get them, you know, because they're not out.
Yep.
I don't know.
And then sometimes we didn't move until late. Like on opening day, Anthony went out and he didn't get anything until late. And then all of a sudden they started crawling. Like what? Why? Is it the barometer? Like before, a couple of years ago, we thought maybe the barometer, the barometric pressure. And then everyone would say the moon phase and the this, and you got to wait for that, and you got to do that. So, but we already debunked all that stuff.
Dude, I've completely destroyed them on a full moon before. You know, just 2 pulls and you're done.
Yeah. And then I thought the barometer, right? So high pressure systems come and it starts to rain, so on and so on, and it drives the lobsters to move. And one day we went out and it was raining and we didn't catch shit. I mean,
it wasn't raining hard enough, right?
and then the next day we go out and they're freaking everywhere. So we're out there while it's raining. And this was last year. We're out there while it's raining and we caught like 2 keepers. I was like, dang, that's kind of weird. You know, they should be moving all over the place. And then the next day I go out and we catch limits in the same spot. Is it because like, now you got to think, is it because of the runoff? Like all that fresh water push, you know, it's raining and makes a lot of noise on top of the water. But if it just starts raining, is that fresh water getting to the lobsters?
Right.
It's not. Probably. I mean, these are all skeptical things, right? And so it takes a little bit for that fresh water to come down and start getting those lobsters all riled up and moving. A lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure. Yeah. I
Bob,
tried a camera or a camera underwater last year and the year before, and then like 4 years ago. And the thing is, I don't think they like the light. I know they say when you're deer hunting, when you're deer hunting, you use a red light, so on and so on. So we tried a red light, and they don't like the red light either. So I don't know. They just don't like the light, period.
No, you can't use a camera at night because then you're lighting up the water and these things. Well, for sure, this is the one truism is they're nocturnal.
Yeah.
So other than that, you can throw everything else away. And if you figure it out, Justin, then you will be a bazillionaire. You will be a bazillionaire. But things are, you're not going to figure it out. There's many people that have tried to figure it out for many years.
Right.
And just when you think you got it figured out, it changes. But the best thing to do is go when you can go.
Mhm.
Go just winter, spring, summer, fall. If it's legal, you got to go. We've known that about fishing. We know that about whatever type of fishing you're doing. Same with hunting. Whatever type of hunting you're doing, you got to go when you can go. The sad thing is I heard a rumor on that War Heroes on Water thing that really got me irked, and I didn't say anything, but they're going to eradicate all the deer on Catalina.
No, it got shut down.
It got shut down?
Yeah, that's old news. They tried doing that last year. They wanted to hire like 3 helicopters. The whole thing is the deer on Catalina are eating the native plants, and now plants. Yeah, this is old news though. But the deer are eating all the native plants, which I can understand that, and they want to get rid of them because they're having to put more effort into planting native plants now in Catalina than to just take care of the deer. And they were going to hire 3 helicopters from Texas that do the huntings where they fly around in the helicopters and they shoot the pigs.
Pigs, yeah.
And hire 3 of them and pay them like buku bucks. This is already scheduled to happen. And here's some stuff that's going to piss everyone off right now. So if you're into deer hunting, so they're going to hire these people to go out there and just push all the deer into areas where they can just kill them all. And then they thought, well, what are we going to do with all the carcasses? Well, there's plenty of bird life, predatorial birds that will come down and eat all these. I'm like, well, there's not enough birds. There's like 1,300 to 1,500 deer population on Catalina Island. So then that went through, and they said, well, we got to put it through a voting thing, so on and so on. And it never went through. They voted against it. The locals on there who don't want the deer said no. And everyone else said, no, it's not a legal thing to do, or whatever they said. Then they hired 2 bow and arrow guys to go on the island without anybody knowing at nighttime this happened. And they started shooting deer. And then one of those buses that takes you on the rides that go through the island found 9 deer on the trail with arrows through them. You can look this all up.
Wow.
So they made a big stink about it. So then they had those people stop shooting them. So as of right now, they're just gonna live there forever.
Yeah, they should open up a hunting season on the island where it's a draw like everywhere else, and go take some of them. You know.
They do. They already have.
They have that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right now, you can get a tag on they call this the mainland, California. You can get a tag on the mainland over the counter, and then you take it to the conservancy. There's like 2 places in the conservancy. One's in Long Beach, and then one's in Avalon. You take it to the conservancy, you fill out your paperwork. You can do it online, print it all out, give it to them. Pay the $100 or $150 for 2 tags, $100 for 1 tag, and off you go. You can go hunt. But they have different zones that you can hunt in for certain different times. It's really easy to get it.
So, Justin, I never asked you this, but what about the big herd of elk that lived on Santa Cruz Island? No one even talks about those. That was eradicated. Those were gone forever off the planet. You know anything about those?
Never even heard about it.
Shut up. You're full of loan.
I'm dead serious. I've never heard that there's elk on any island.
Oh, there was a full-on herd of giant elk. These things were giant. They were bigger than horses. These were giant elk. And one day somebody decided that they weren't going to be there anymore, and they eradicated them. And it was, oh my gosh, it would be the most spectacular hunting. It was just so cool. And
that's cool.
All of a sudden they just decided to get rid of them because they were eating something. They don't deserve to be there. Pretty crazy. If you think about it, gang, really no animal deserves to be anywhere if you get into that. But can you believe we're bringing wolves into Southern California? That's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And grizzly bears. We're bringing.
And they're also talking about bringing the sea otter down to Southern California too. If we just leave everything alone, everything will work out. I promise.
Right.
The world is a giant filter. Pretty soon it's going to filter through us if we don't leave it the hell alone. So.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
And you were asking about, or you talked about Pablo earlier. I think Pablo's guiding people over at Catalina or something. He called me the other day, but I was too busy.
I've never even been on Catalina Island.
Really?
Yeah.
You would love it.
I haven't been on it. I haven't been on it since last weekend.
I told the wife, I said, we need to load that Riviera up and go over there for like a week.
Yeah, that's a good vacation, buddy.
Do ourselves a favor and go check it out.
Go over there in November. It's like Indian summer. It's so bitchin'.
Oh, really? Okay.
You should join us next year, Al. We're gonna, like, Joey's taking his boat over. His boat's over near you. He's taking his boat, and there's I don't know, 4 or 5 other Your Saltwater Guide people with boats, and we're all gonna go to Catalina and moor up and party.
Vacation.
See, Dave Deckhand Sports went in and did some research. They were there, Justin.
I think July or June or something.
All right. Yeah, I got to do it. I've been thinking about it a lot.
But those elk were at Santa Cruz Island until the 30s or something. Crazy.
Yeah, interesting. Are there any more there? Or are they just
no? They eradicated them because they were eating some plant or some baloney.
They used to have, what were they, sheep or goats?
Goats.
I think at Catalina.
Goats at San Clemente Island.
And then pigs.
At San Clemente Island, it was quite amazing.
Really?
Yeah, there were so many goats on the island when I was working on there as a deckhand, or working on the overnight boats as a deckhand. There were so many goats. The commercial guys would come in there and shoot a goat off the end of the island, and they would roll down and get them off the beach and slaughter them and have them for lunch or dinner or whatever. And then,
wow.
And then,
look at that.
My God, they eradicated them, boy, and it was quite the scene to see. with door gunners and oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Military guys just unloading, practicing.
Absolutely. But they brought them over there in the old days, the Portuguese, the commercial tuna fishermen, because there was so much tuna at the island and they wanted some food source. So they brought goats over there and put them on the island. That's what I remember, at least. Maybe Bob Lorman's on here. He can tell us if it was something else, but it was pretty amazing. I've seen the elk in Bishop. I have seen those elk. They shut down the road and everything on 395. Kelly Girl and I've seen it twice, but I've seen it like 10 times.
Good luck.
Daytime lobster hooping, I've never, ever caught lobsters in the daytime. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but I've never caught them.
I've had them crawl in early, like right at gray light. But like my buddy, opening night had 7 in his hoop before it was dark. But not daytime, you know.
So that being said, not last season, but the season before, I was with my deckhand was Jake from State Farm.
Yes.
And we put the nets out just to save our area. And we went to go pull them an hour before sunset to bait them up. And one of the nets had a lobster in it and a keeper. And then the other net had a crab in it. And we're like, what? And we didn't even have any bait in there. It's just this net stunk, I guess. But that's not saying anything. It could have been just the to the rock or something, and a lobster came out really quick. Was it? I did have a guy also that same year tell me before that even happened, which is kind of weird. He's like, "Why do you go at night for these lobsters? You should be going during the daytime because some of us have to sleep." And this guy came on an open party. He's never allowed on the boat again, by the way. So he was one of those know-it-alls. He knows everything, and he tells me all this. Oh, you should go during the daytime. We always get our limit during the daytime, and we do this. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you're such a freaking liar. And he'd come up to the bridge with me, and I'd tell him, listen, you're gonna have to just stay down there now. Just stay down there. I'm tired of listening to how good you are, and you've done everything the best in the whole world. And
yeah, I love those people that come up and chirp in your ear up in the bridge, huh?
Yeah.
With alcohol in their breath.
Yeah. Dude, I'm kind of that way, but I would just stop. Hold on a second. Here you go. What do you mean? Here you go. You can drive. I'll just sit back and watch. You take us wherever you feel. Oh no, I didn't mean yeah, you didn't mean that. Take it away. You've driven a lot of these 65-foot Hatterases, or you've driven a lot of these 65-foot Viking. You just drive it away. Take us to where you took your 2 friends fishing last year for an hour. Let's go there right now. Yeah, come on, buddy. Let's go. Oh, I don't remember exactly where the spot. What? Then how do you know I'm not on the spot if you don't even remember where? You just take the power out of them right away, man.
That's too funny.
I can't help it. I would always, when I was running sport boats, I'd have that conversation on the way out. If any of you feel like you know more about this than I do, feel free to come out here. I haven't done this since yesterday. So you guys feel free to come on up here in the wheelhouse. Let us all know exactly what you should do, when you should do it, and how you should do it. Because like I said, I haven't been out since yesterday, so I'm sure you know way more about this than I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Al, why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you? And then Justin, I don't know if Justin even got any time to run any more trips or if he's going to run any more trips, but you go first.
You can get a hold of me direct at 619-800-3474. That's 619-800-FISH if you forget. Or go to my website and auto book at CaptainClowers.com.
And then Justin?
Whether you want to go fishing or hooping, I got your back.
Hello?
Yep.
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 If you want to go with me sometime, my phone number is 951-703-9442. I don't know when I have available. I haven't even looked at my calendar.
And Bob Lorman, I love that story. Belmont Pier, middle of high noon, 200 pounds in the trawl net of lobsters at high noon. Let the net troll for what, an hour, or not even an hour, 10 minutes. And he caught all those lobsters in the middle of the day with no structure. I fished that place many, many times with the trawl net and caught millions of lobsters. But I've tried a hoop net there and I've never caught one. Winter, or daytime or nighttime. But oh yeah, they crawl in the trawl net. That's for damn sure. It doesn't make any sense. There's no structure there off the Belmont Pier inside the harbor. But oh my God. When you told me that, Bob, I went there the next day and I caught them in the middle of the day. It was pretty amazing. Well, gang, we're going to get out of here. We'll be live with you tomorrow with Michael Folks, Inside Sport Fishing and the History of Sport Fishing. Justin and Al, thank you very much. And everybody that's watching, thank you very, very much. And we'll see you tomorrow.
I looked at my calendar really quick.
Yeah.
And I have like the last 2 weeks of October, some dates. So yeah.
Okay.
Fishing or anything. Oh, and everyone, sorry, really quick. Sorry to keep you all. Starting in 2 days, the rockfish season changes. So make sure you look at your regulations. You have to fish deeper than 300 feet. Once you catch rockfish, you can't fish less than 300 feet. So just remember that.
Oh my God. That's because they did the survey and they found out there's tons of rockfish. So they were wrong, and everything they said, they were wrong. They even admitted they were wrong, but they can't change the regs right now.
Yeah, they would never go back to the way it was ever.
And then also, gang, if you want to send me any videos you have, 1 minute or less, send the videos to me and I will post them on our website for 800,000 people to see. And if you have a good video, send it to me and then we'll pick one winner. We're going to do it every month starting in October. So if you want to send in your videos, that's fine. If you want to keep them for yourself and let your 5 or 6 followers see them, that's fine too. Totally up to you. But I'll give you all the credit. Just let me have the video and let me post it and see if we get any views. Thank you very much, Justin. Thank you, Al.